Greetings! Welcome back to another video in our CHIMPS series. This time around we are doing the cabin, which is one of the harder easy maps. Not that that says very much, but it definitely is one of the more challenging ones. The reason for that is just because the length of the map is a bit on the shorter side, and you don't really have like a loop or whatever where you can hit the balloon like several times like you can in a few of the other maps. So that makes this one of the more challenging ones, but don't fret, this is nowhere near anything called challenging in the Bloons Tower Defense 6 universe when you're dealing with the ravines and bloody puddles of the world, right? So still fairly easy, but we gotta be a little bit more on the careful side, I suppose. We're gonna go for more of an OG strategy. Gonna go for the old classic druid strategy again. We've already used this. We're gonna use it sort of again, but with a twist. Gotta make sure to get the Hearts of Oak there so you don't leak. Round 7 is a little bit unpredictable for some reason. So I'm gonna get that upgrade, and that should be enough for Obyn. So yeah, we're gonna be doing this one with a twist, because as usual per maps with only one lane, that means that Perma-Spike is going to be a great option, and we are going to be using it, as I see that we are somehow leaking on round 9. That I did not expect. Seems like we got to be spending money on hard thorns as well. Well, that's good to know. There we go. Gotta get that into the video, because, well, it's better that I make the mistakes than you do. I haven't tested this out beforehand. So, yeah, if I had, I would have known, but, you know, I can't be testing everything. I gotta get these videos out, so it's better that I just make the silly mistakes. Obviously, I could just stop the recording and restart, but I feel like I have a good start right now, so I just didn't really want to do that. You know, a bit on the lazy end. My whole YouTube career, or especially the last years, is just being lazy. And that's not gonna change anytime soon, you know. I'm like, not gonna hide the fact that I make mistakes when I make these videos, so I'm by no means an excellent player. I'm like, I would say I'm like an advanced player, like I understand, but nowhere near anything on the expert end. That is definitely the case, or not the case, I should say, but you get what I mean. So here we are, we're gonna go for the classic Spirit of the Forest strategy, which just never faults us in any way. That's why we are going for it yet again. We have gone for it before, and we are gonna go for it again. But, as I said, I think I mentioned this already, but since this map is since you only have one lane, Perma-Spike is gonna be a great idea, as well as Apache Prime is an option. Those two towers excel when there's only one lane. Perfect for those kind of maps, which, well, almost every single easy map, that's the case there. Now I noticed that camo is coming, so we gotta be prepared for that by using the brambles, or whatever it's called. And yeah, I didn't have to do it. I could start with the Spike Factory right away. I'll just do that, I suppose. There we go. Smart. There we go. Alright. Yeah, so we're gonna be getting this pile up a little bit. The only downside with this, I guess I'll get the Heart of Thunder. I guess the only downside with this, it's very good against Bloons, but it's not that great against Moabs. So in order to pop the Moabs in the beginning, we will have to rely a little bit on the Spike Factory, which we will be doing, and that's totally fine. Not an issue there. Not an issue at all, but kind of nice to have the Perma-Spike, actually, because it's sort of a tower you don't notice. It is just there in the background, and if you end up leaking anything, well, that's taken care of. You're not actually leaking. Everything is covered by the Spike Factory. As you can see here, we don't have any camo detection just yet, so it's just gonna pop all of those camos without any issues whatsoever. I'm gonna move on over to long life spikes right now to ensure that we're not gonna have any issues later on with camo too. And we should be getting the Nature's Ward in not too long anyway, which is gonna give this druid camo. So you don't have to build a village or anything like that. Easy to forget about, but good to keep in mind that you don't have to spend money on it, because a camo village is quite expensive when you think about it. So there we go. It's gonna be some greens. It's not gonna be particularly. Not gonna need too many spikes to deal with those. Remember, you can always use the brambles if you want to deal with a few camo balloons. But yeah, I'm just gonna get the deadly spikes right away until we start saving up for the jungle's bounty and the Spirit of the Forest afterwards, I guess. I don't know which one I should even go for first, but since they're fairly similar in price, I guess it's better to go for the Spirit of the Forest just because of the sheer amount of damage. And I know you could say that you want to build up the spike pile, but you will not be able to build up that much because it's gonna do most of the damage. So could use the brambles for the Moabs, of course, or to do a little bit of damage, but I'm just gonna rely on the spike factory as of now, which will be good enough to take care of the Moab. More than good enough. And now the next Moab comes in round 50, so it's a bit of a while from now. So I'll have this already, which is useful. And we will start saving up for the Spirit of the Forest, which I guess happens in... when does that happen? Like in the mid-60s, perhaps? Something like that, so... We're a while away from that, but we will get there soon enough. And this strategy is a little bit about stalling, you could say. So we're going to be stalling a little bit. We're going to be using a Mer Monkey for the first time ever in this series. Mer Monkey is not too good in chimps. I mean, the Lord of the Abyss is okay, I suppose, but it's nothing incredible. You can use it, though. The bottom path is decent enough. The mid path is okay, too, I guess. But... yeah, you need, do usually need some water to make it extra good, I would say. You can, of course, place it on land as well, but it has less range. Less powerful that way. But of course, it's a nice option, I guess. Or a possibility to go for. But, you know, you have these habits, old habits, and I just stick to those. That's what I've been doing the last years, so I haven't, like, the Beast Handler, pretty much never use it, but occasionally for bosses, actually, since the top path is incredibly powerful, but... So here we are, round 50. As you can see, we are not doing well in terms of Moab damage just yet, because the jungle's bounty, it's only good against Bloons. And well, you'll be seeing, if you were to leak, though, the jungle's bounty would be able to catch some leakers, actually. It has a... it can reach the whole map, which is another thing that's very beneficial about this. But yeah. The main plus side is going to be the Moab damage, naturally. The Bloon damage, naturally. And the main downside is the Moab damage. So, something to keep in mind there. And I'm waiting for the wall of trees, which we will be using. Get that up as soon as we can. Have to leak a few more Moabs, which can be a little bit uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't seem like this pile is that big. But it is still holding up fairly well, as you can see. It always looks scarier than what it is, but you know... it's a bit uncomfortable to be like leaking constant amount of Moabs, but... it is an upgrade that costs still quite a bit of money, so it has to be able to hold a little bit. And that it can. A little bit more than you may think. So, useful, but yeah. We can soon get the wall of trees. And we're almost there for the Spirit of the Forest anyway. So then we're home free. And I think we will be getting it before round 60? Maybe? Maybe not? Maybe that's optimistic. You're gonna place down the trees. That's always useful because the Moabs will go into the trees. It can hold Moabs, so that's highly, highly useful. because that gives you the time to produce more spikes. Not that you need it, I mean, you're more than good enough, but there you go. It can't hold any more Moabs, but there we go. So it's gonna explode into money, you could say, or burst into money rather. And we get another pile of trees up. And rinse and repeat, as they say. But we always have enough, and we can't afford a Perma-Spike. So if you were very, very afraid, then this would be an option. But well, there we go. So we have the BFB. Definitely a little bit on the scarier side, but we will be getting the Spirit of the Forest soon enough. So I'm just gonna sit here and wait until we get that. I'm not too concerned. I know this pile is gonna hold it. But if you are in doubt, you can obviously go for the Perma-Spike first. But prefer not to, around 63. Okay, 63 should be fine with the Jungle's Bounty, but yeah. I'm gonna go for the Spirit of the Forest, because once you have that, it's just complete smooth sailing with nothing that can really get through. So let's see how it goes. Okay, as you can see, a little close, but not too bad. Let's deal with another Moab, as we are in the final section here of saving up for the Spirit of the Forest, when everything will be ready. There we go, Spirit of the Forest. And everything is now under amazing control, as it controls the whole map, and all we need to do right now is to save up for the Perma-Spike, which is, well, it's the same process of rinsing and repeating. You could always get an Alk if you want. I'm just gonna get the Perma-Spike as soon as I can. I'm gonna be needing it for around 100, actually. I think. We could, of course, use the good old missile, but kind of want to push the Perma-Spike to its limits, you know. That's what I'm all about. So yeah, maybe the strategy was probably should have placed down something else, but for sake of Moabs. But this is good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. And well, this strategy is pretty. It is a little risky, but I guess one possible solution is to go for like a sniper, and the sniper takes care of the Moabs, and then you save up for the Spirit of the Forest afterwards. That is like an option. You would be able to save up for it eventually, but I'd rather just get this one as soon as possible. The app is the map is easy enough, so, but as what usually happens later on, though, is that it just gets too difficult because the map is too short or whatever to save up, so you need to add more defense as you get more money. That's what usually happens, but naturally it's going to depend a lot on the map, and I will say that a lot of the intermediate maps are also very easy. So, it is a while. We are a few weeks away before it really starts getting a little bit challenging, I think. I mean, it depends. If we get some of the challenging intermediate maps early, then we are there in a few weeks. But Lunarius Prime being one I can think of. That one is actually quite difficult, comparatively to other stuff we've seen. That's for sure. Alright, so we got 20k, we need 12,000, so that should be enough by the end of the 70s, I guess, which is just perfect. As we will from there move on to the Mermonkey and get that to the bottom tier, so we could get like the perfect stalling. That's what we want. But again, it's not such great Moab damage, though. Or bad damage, I should say. But I think it's a fun strategy to go for. But maybe I should go for more. Well, I've been talking about the Mermonkey. But I'm curious if I should go for a Moab Mauler. Or what is the final tier? The Moab Eliminator, yeah. That would be better for the bad, which is what we're lacking. But it doesn't matter. As I said, I want to push the Perma-Spike to its limit. So yeah, now this map is ridiculously easy once you just get that Spirit of the Forest. It's just completely... It's not going to be challenging until quite a bit later. So here we go. There's a Perma-Spike. And from there, we're going to be getting a Berserker Brew, just so we pop, or we get as much spikes as we can here, get those down. By the way, the reason why we get the white hot spikes is for the DDTs, so we don't have to solely rely on the elk to do that, because you could technically go for mid path and then use the elk for DDTs as well, but I'm not that comfortable doing that. Don't think it's necessary to go for middle path, so go for the top half just to be a little bit on the safer side. And gonna be buffing this one as well. Do even more damage, which is always good. Perfect. Lays down the trees because why not? And yeah, it's time to be blazing down the Mermonkey here. Do that. Here we go. Luring Melody. Okay, we can have a little bit of faster attacking going on. So what this one is going to do is that it's just going to be some kind of like the balloon chipper in a way. Sort of. Not really, but kind of. It just keeps the balloons hypnotized. So that just means that, well, as I said, it's kind of a stalling tower in a way. But it does damage though. It's highly useful. Actually, quite decent for the price. It's only 27k, which is not too bad for a tower like that. But obviously, it's not going to be incredibly strong. But should we go for a stronger? I think we should. So let's do that.
Acceptable.
We're going to be saving up for the final harmonic. We'll get there, but not that soon, actually. The money gets, you don't get so much money towards the end. Let's see, 15k, how fast we can get that. So we are popping the COMGs without issues. So that's good, of course. There we go. We're getting the Moabs, but we're not getting the bigger balloons just yet. So we need a stronger tune for that. And as you would expect, the BAD is not affected by this tower. So that's why I said that our BAD popping power is somewhat lackluster. But it's fine. You will see that with your own eyes that the Perma-Spike is going to be able to take care of that perfectly fine. I know it's kind of surprising, but it can actually, since we're not really leaking, but I think we will be leaking some DDTs though. That is what the tower is for, DDTs and the BAD. So it's gonna get quite a few DDTs at the end. Okay, good. And there we go. Here we have this. Lays down the trees. I've totally forgotten about Obyn, honestly. The main reason I use him here is just because of the camo that he gives to the... Also the buffs. He gives a few buffs too, to the druid, but also to the magic tower. So, it makes him useful. He's kind of cheap, but... Obviously the damage that he does is not, like, incredible, but... I do like the tree ability. Alright, so gonna get the final harmonic, and now you will be seeing that we will be getting COMGs here as well. So, as I said, it's a bit of a stalling mechanic, which is useful as we are just trying to produce as many spikes as possible. Now, if you really want to get Moab popping power, what you can do is to get a Moab, like a spike storm. That would be like one way to get more. And it's not that expensive either. It's like 15k when you take every upgrade into consideration, which makes sense considering how much money we have. But I'm not gonna worry too much about it. this should be good enough. But if it's not, then that would look bad. So hopefully it is gonna be enough. I'm pretty sure it is. I think Obyn also reaches level 20. So here we're gonna be, as I said, we will be getting some DDTs, but it didn't actually pop them. Only 8k pops, and that is when you that is not too much considering all of the Moabs popped earlier. Okay, so here's 96, just an absolute joke. As I said, this Mermonkey just stalls everything and gives the Spirit of the Forest time to attack, and also the Perma-Spike gets more time to save up more spikes. Just a very powerful tower in that sense, and as you can see, nothing is close to getting through, and the druid has like 1.3 million pops already. Quite the crazy amount. So we do have enough money for, I think we could get the Moab Eliminator as well if I really wanted to get that, but I've been hyping up the Spike Factory quite a bit, so I think it's time that I put my money where my mouth is, right? So trust me, it's gonna handle the bad. No problem. At all. Alright, so here's 97. I've got a little further than expected, to be honest, but it's totally fine. Because these what do you call it? Like these vines here, they don't do as much damage as the ones closer. So that's logical. So here's 98. You can use the trees if you want to do that. But as you can see, it is also taken care of smoothly by all of our towers. So very, very nice to see there. And there we go. I'm one with the mountain, perfect. Here's that, and here's around 100. And let's see if our puny pile here can take care of the bad. And I think it can, but if not, the Spike Storm would be one way to do quite a bit of damage, quite a bit of extra damage. Moab Elim would be more expensive way to do a lot of extra damage, which we do have money for, just in case. You could also have added the stronger stimulant earlier, which I just did not do to save even more money. But now comes the moment of truth. How's the pie looking? That's the question. So here we go. And it is perfect. As I said, not a concern in the world. A lot more power to this than you might think. It is a huge pile there. And it hardly popped any, just 77k there. For a tower that's more than 30k, that's not too many pops when you think about it. But there we go. So the Mermonkey got more pops than the Spike Factory. I didn't know that you could switch direction. That's kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, the Spirit of the Forest is just incredibly strong, as you can see here. Almost 2 million pops on there, on that tower. Obyn ruining that. There is this challenge where I need to do 2 million pops. So this one is extremely good. So just so you know, it's a very safe bet for a lot of maps. So there you go. So that's the cabin. So not the hardest maps, but naturally in the 50s, you gotta be a little bit alert, I suppose. But the Spike Factory can pop quite a bit. So yeah, that is it. So that is the cabin. Next up, we are only missing skates. That's gonna be fun, so see you then, and thanks for watching.